I knew you had a conflict.
Steve, did you get out planning?
No, we got 2 days left.
Tim, did you?
Yeah, I rented mine out. He's a year ahead of me. I'm just waiting for my CAG rate check. I think it'll be coming. It might come by boat. Might have been a good year to do that. The whole thing got away.
Ready when you are, Mr.
Rick? Okay, call the meeting order on Thursday, May 26, 2016. Roll call members, please, Matt.
Jenner,
Here.
White,
Yes.
Wickman,
Yes.
Herder,
Here.
Pierce.
Yes.
Record show that all members are present.
Okay, you've had a chance to read over the minutes. Did you see any additions or corrections that need to be made? If not, I'd entertain a motion.
So we approve the minutes of April 26th.
Then move to second. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Opposed, same. Motion carried. I will read my statement. Public hearing will be conducted pursuant to the board's rules of procedures as adopted May 26, 1988. We will first hear the report of the planning director on the detailed information and observations regarding the request, if not done so in written form prior to the hearing. Next, we will take the testimony of the applicant and his or her witnesses. Upon completion of the applicant's testimony, I will call upon members of the audience wishing to make a statement concerning the request. Persons in favor of the request should be heard first, followed by those opposed to it. At any time during the presentation of testimony, the members of the board may interrupt to ask questions or to make comments on what has been said. Upon completion of all testimony, the applicant will be allowed to make a closing statement to the board. Upon completion of the applicant's closing statement, we will then hear the recommendation, if any, of the planning director, and upon completion of all discussion, I will entertain a motion to close the public hearing on the request. After the public hearing has been closed, I'll entertain a motion from the members of the board regarding the disposition of the application. Each speaker addressing the board shall step forward to the podium, state their name and address before proceeding with their testimony or evidence. I would ask that you would spell your last name. This board shall not be bound by strict rules of evidence, but does reserve the right to exclude evidence or testimony that does seem to be irrelevant or immaterial, incompetent, or unduly repetitious. As chairman, I will rule on the questions related to the admissibility of evidence, which may be overruled by a majority of the board. The board may grant continuance in case of good cause shown to any interested party who has entered his appearance. The board may at any time request a continuance of the hearing for the purpose of giving further notice, taking further evidence, gathering further information, touring the proposed site, or for other such reasons as the board may find sufficient. In such case, we'll state the specific reason for the continuance and set a date, time, and place when the matter will be continued. All official actions of this board will be made at a public hearing by motion made, seconded, and a polling of the membership. If conditions are imposed, such conditions shall be included in the motion or amendment thereto. Our final decision will be prepared in writing and will be part of the public record of this board. Once this board has reached a decision on a case, that decision shall be final. Section 335.18 of the Code of Iowa states, any person or persons jointly or severely aggravated by any decision of the Board of Adjustments under the provisions of Chapter 335, or any taxpayer or any officer, department, board, or bureau of the county may present to a court a record of petition duly verified, setting forth that such decision was illegal, in whole or in part, specifying the grounds of the illegality. Such petition shall be presented to the court within 30 days after the final decision of the board, of the office of this board. Upon hearing that, I would ask for a motion to open public hearing on case CU 2016-02, Karis, Carly, and Crilly.
Second.
So moved and second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carried. Public hearing is open. If someone would like to speak on your behalf, or you'll come up and, you want to put a podium over here, or how do you want to do that?
I think
Oh, just, okay. Okay.
All right, so,
Need your name and address and
sorry.
spell your name, last name.
Karis Curley, C-R-I-L-L-Y, address is 24999 Hackberry Road,
Okay, thank you.
Council Bluffs. Okay, so, trying to get a conditional use permit so I can work on, vehicles, and, I do it as kind of a hobby and a stress reliever, and it's kind of, I guess, become an issue out there. I've been doing it since I put the building up, and I just like to, get the conditional use permit. I plan on putting up a fence in the back to cover anything I plan on putting, like if I have extra cars. I collect like Mercedes and Porsches, and sometimes those are sitting outside. And I've got a couple cars out there right now, but I've been trying to clean up everything that I can, and I'll maintain that. But one of them, like there's a truck out there right now that I have that it's actually the mailman's, and I'm working on it for him. Swapping the motor out for him. And I just kind of do that on the side, and I just do it. I really don't charge anything for it. It's just more of a, you need help, I'll help you, you help me. And, today I had another mailman, there's a mail lady showed up, and then, or actually it was 2 days ago, and then they had a flat tire, I fixed their tire, and then it happened again today, and I fixed their tire. Just out of, just because I like working on cars, and it's just a good stress reliever for me. So, and I realized that over the summer, this last summer, I had kind of collected a few more cars than I'd really want to normally collect because I was working on a house, and it just kind of got behind. People were leaving stuff out there, and I was like, I finally got them all cleared up. I think I have, at one point I had probably 10 or 12 vehicles out there, and I'm down to, there's 6 of them outside right now. So, but they're all my cars besides the mailman's car, 2 cars. So, but basically, I just want to get this so, everybody's happy in the neighborhood. I want to make everybody happy, whatever it takes to make, if it's an eyesore or whatever, I can put up a fence, I can do whatever has to be done. So.
What do you do for an occupation?
I actually work for the Federal Reserve as IT. So, but this is just something I've done all my life. My dad was a body shop guy, he was an auto mechanic guy, and I just kind of just picked up with it, and I just continue to do it. So, it's more of a, until now it was a stress reliever. So,
Sometimes that happens. Any questions?
Do you ever work on trucks like semi trucks?
No,
That kind
no,
of
it's all small vehicles.
small vehicles?
Yeah, it'll be all small vehicles. All vehicles I work on will be under, I don't ever work on anything that's probably more than, 9,000 pounds total weight.
You said you have 6 cars of your own, are they all titled?
Yes. Yeah, all my cars are titled.
But they're not all in working condition?
Some of the Porsches are not, no. I mean, they'll move, but you wouldn't drive them down the road,
Are you just planning on collecting them and keeping them, or are you planning
That's more what I'm kind of doing.
to refurbish them and sell?
No, I more so but I do refurbish cars and sell them at times.
So there's really not room for those 6 cars inside a building?
I'm gonna put up another building anyway, so, and no, there's really not, because when you set up like a workplace, I have my lift, I have like a paint booth, and, if I do any like stuff for myself, and then anything, cause I've got collector cars that I want to keep myself, cause I've got a couple Mercedes, a couple Porsches inside there, 2013 GT500, just cars I don't want sitting outside, so that's kind of, and sometimes when I take them out, that's more of an issue, I guess, because when they're out and I'm doing if I'm doing some kind of work in there where I don't want to get any of these, the cars inside they're damaged or dirty or whatever, I'll pull them out, and they may stay outside for, 2-3 days, but never anything.
Attention all courthouse personnel and visitors, the tornado watch for Pottawattamie County has been canceled. Again, authority of the National Weather Service, the tornado watch for Pottawattamie County, including Council Bluffs, has been canceled.
I thought they were gonna send us to the basement.
I did too. Thank you. Thank you.
So your request is to put up another building or just to utilize the building you already
I'm
have?
going to utilize the building I have right now.
So, but then you're also gonna put up another
At
building?
some point I will, if needed. It's more of an if needed thing.
Sounds like
I don't
it might
want-
be needed.
Right now, you need it.
Yeah. So.
Okay. Any other questions?
What's the acreage on this?
10 acres.
It is 10.
Mhm.
Are all the vehicles that you have, I know I heard you say that they were all titled, are they all licensed and up to date?
Yep. And there's always a rotating, like, 'cause I just bought a Porsche today. That's not in my name yet. So,
Those ones that are not drivable, you don't license those, do you? The ones that are not drivable, or you said you just kind of push them in, push them out?
yeah, there's one that's not drivable, that wouldn't have plates on it. And there's a Ranger that it's a rolled Ranger. It got rolled, and it's got a motor and transmission I'm supposed to be swapping out. I haven't just got time to do that yet. And that's the mailman. There's a blue Ranger, Ford Ranger, and a rolled Ranger sitting out there, and they're both owned by the mailman. So it's just something I need to get swapped out. Cause I put the one Ranger, those don't have licenses on them. Either one of them. I think the Ranger does, but the rolled one does not. 'Cause it was bought as a junk vehicle. For parts only.
Okay. Anything else? Okay, thank you.
Yep, and any car that I get that I'm gonna keep myself, I register just like you would have to, you know, whether I put it into storage or whether I, get the title put in my name. So, with the plates on it.
Anyone else want to speak in favor of the application? Anyone want to speak opposed to the application?
Got a letter here from, it's not my letter, it's not my letter, I just delivered it.
What's another one? You got this one?
Okay, yeah, we got that copy. Thank
You
you.
got that?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is a different font.
Well, no, that's it. Yeah, but that's, you want to part with these?
Yeah.
Okay.
Tom Liston, 24751 Hackberry, Liston. I'm probably 500, I'm 2 neighbors down from the Curleys, and I'm next to the letter you got there, those people there.
Okay, they're in between you.
Yep.
Okay.
The photos that I've given you are an east and west side of the front yard. There's probably 4 or 5 vehicles on the east side and 4 or 5 vehicles on the west side. Multiple vehicle or trailers or 4-wheelers or stuff behind vehicles on the east side. Try to be neighborly and everything, and I just don't think that the look of the property is fitting for the rest of the properties. We all live in fairly good sized homes out there. Everybody's on 10 acres. I'm sure everybody's got $400,000 or $500,000 wrapped up in what they've got going on. That's how it was when we all built out there, and the Curley's house was built. It was, it's a fairly new house, probably 10 or 12 years old, nice house. But it just, it looks like a salvage yard. So I don't like the looks of it now. I haven't liked the looks of it for probably 12 months, and I'm pretty sure I'm like the looks of it in the future. A fence would be fine for someone who's 10 or 12 feet away from the fence, but the way the topography of the ground is, fence wouldn't help me a bit because it rolls, and I can, it's the topography is a little bit lower than my property, so I'd see over a 20-foot fence, from 500 feet away. So I'm again, I don't mind a business, he wants to do something in his shop, but if it could be contained to a shop, that'd be fine, but it's all the time, there's vehicles all the time, in and out, and they're not running usable vehicles. You can see the pickup truck, the top's missing, the hood's missing, and that's not an odd situation. It's not a nice vehicle getting pulled in the driveway and needs clutch work or a windshield replaced or a tire changed. It's getting pulled in on a trailer or a tow truck or what have you. So that's all it is.
How long have you lived where you're at?
16 years.
How long have they lived where they're at? Approximately.
5 or 6.
6
Okay,
years.
good.
My house is 16 years old. His is 14. The house between the two of ours is 10 or 12. Or 15 maybe.
So is this a new thing with the cars sitting outside like that?
I
mean, relatively.
don't quote me, but
Yeah,
18 months, 20 months,
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. A year, who knows?
yeah, that doesn't look real good to me.
It's not real attractive, and
No.
I don't like to, try to be neighborly, but it just, my opinion is, it's not an attractive site.
Okay.
And I've got trailers. I leave trailers, park trailers on the property, try not to keep them out there too long, and then I move them, but everything's licensed and registered, but it's, just like anybody with 10 acres, every once in a while, there's something parked there, or a livestock trailer, or something, but this is a little bit more than that, so. All right.
Any questions? Okay.
Thank you.
Anyone else want to speak opposed?
My name is Phil Caniglia. Last name is spelled Caniglia. I reside at 134 Glen Oaks in Council Bluffs. I am the guardian and conservator for Mike and John Churchman, who own property. They have a house out there at 25,000 Hackberry Road. Well, the Churchmans do not live in the house. They are currently renting the house. It's a farmhouse. The Churchmans have owned that farm ground and the house out there, I think, since the 1920s. So they've been out there a long time. They resided there until they're currently in a assisted living facility in Council Bluffs. My concern for the guardianship and conservatorship is that that's always been a residential place. It's been a place that's been quiet out there. There's not been any businesses along there. I agree with Mr. Liston that the homes that have been built are very expensive homes. There's some question in my mind as whether that will affect the evaluation of the home, having a body and repair shop located out there. The other question, just from listening to Mr. Crilly, is this really a business, or is this just to store vehicles that basically, I don't want to say junk vehicles, but evidently there's some pictures in there that those vehicles have been out there for quite some time. So I have some issues too as to what the intent of whether those vehicles will actually be kept inside or will they be outside in a fenced area. And just on behalf of the Churchmans, those are just some of the concerns I have, as well as the concerns that Mr. Liston has indicated. I wouldn't have anything further unless there's any questions.
How close is the Churchman's property to?
Pardon?
How close is it?
It's kind of right where the Crilly's house is. It's pretty much just across the road from them. It's not on the same side of the road. So I'm not quite sure, if it's fenced in, whether, as far as any view is concerned, is whether they would be able to see that from the household.
Is the farmhouse
The
away from the
farmhouse, I'm
road?
not sure. Yeah, it's not too far off the road, though. It's fairly close to the road, so, but it's not directly across from the Curleys, I believe. It's a little bit down the hill from them, but I don't, it's not a long distance. They're on the end of the drive as well as the Curley's place. It's just on the opposite side.
Do they own farm ground there too?
They also own farm ground.
Might they, I don't know.
It's farmed, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
May develop it though.
Okay.
Any questions? Okay.
Thank you.
Anyone else want to speak opposed to it? Okay, would you like a closing statement?
Okay, so I see those pictures too.
Yep.
Joni, did you want to speak?
Yeah, these are.
See the pictures?
Did you want to speak?
No, I don't want to speak.
So you have a chance for a closing statement if you'd like one.
Excuse me, can I just ask a couple questions?
If you know, well, you need to come up to the podium.
Can I ask him questions?
No, but you can ask us.
Go ahead.
And we can ask him.
Just come up and talk.
Those pictures are all isolated right on the front of my shop. There's no cars laying around anywhere else.
Randy Hoffa, 24748 Hackberry, HOFFA. I guess the questions I've got is, I was under the impression this is for a business. Is this more of a business or is this more of a restoration hobby type? So can somebody
Well,
answer that?
the application's for a rural enterprise business, but his testimony was it's a hobby.
Well, but
See, I'm confused.
the
That was gonna be
application,
one of my questions, because I read this closer, but it's a hobby and a stress reliever with 2 employees.
yeah, my concern is, you know, if it's a hobby stress reliever, no problem. But if it's gonna be a business, I'm concerned about the traffic out there. The other thing I'm concerned about frankly is what, with all the chemicals from a body shop and repair shop, what are going on with those? How are those being effectively, dispersed of? I mean, everybody's on septic out there. I mean, it's just going into the septic and dispersing from there from a water standpoint. So those are some of the concerns that I've got. Again, if it's a hobby, you know, frankly, I can't see his house from where I am. But, yeah, I don't want it out there to turn into a junkyard out there either. So if a couple cars, okay, who cares? But I'm concerned about the traffic. Is this a business? And what about the chemicals and how they get rid of those? So,
Thank you. Okay, closing statement. You'll have a chance to answer that question, and
All right, I guess I stress the hobby too much. I plan on making it, more of a business.
Okay.
Okay, it's gonna be a business, but it started out as more of a hobby and a stress relief for me. But I probably do 28 cars a year, you know, where I'll either fix them or repair them, put motors in them, transmissions in them, whatever. All my chemicals, are they're contained. If I do an oil change, I have an oil container that, just like any other shop would have, and they're put into drums at that point, and then those drums are taken to whoever will take them. I mean, people buy that stuff. I haven't done that many oil changes. I've just been taking them to like Advanced Auto Parts, and they take the oil down there at Manawa. So I'll take 5-gallon buckets or 10-gallon buckets down there. So, but all the chemicals I keep contained. As per the traffic, there's probably been more traffic there just me recently, because I've been trying to get it cleaned up. Because like I said, I'd fallen behind working on a house last year, and normally I don't like to have the projects become more of an issue with the neighbors, and I'm not gonna be able to hide every single vehicle. I don't know anybody who I can't there's gonna be some vehicles sitting outside, either fenced in or somewhere.
But what do you do with these vehicles? I mean, I would not be very happy if that was a neighbor of mine with those type of, whatever the pictures were, vehicles sitting in next to me.
Yeah, two of those. That one that's rolled, that one looks the worst. That one is the mailman's vehicle. So he dropped it off. I'm supposed to be swapping the motor out for him. I just haven't got to it. And as soon as I get that motor pulled out of there and put it, I get rid of the truck. I run them either across the scale or they're removed from the property. They don't sit there. They're the only time.
I'm not sure that's what I've heard from other testimony, though. That seems to be a huge concern.
What's the time frame they sit there? I mean,
I don't know, but I'm just saying,
that
seems to be the issue that's being brought up.
Yeah, well, there are some vehicles that do sit there, but not, they're moved. I move the vehicles around. I put them inside when I can put them inside. That vehicle's been sitting there. I bought that vehicle's brought there, that Ranger was brought there end of April. So it's been sitting there for about a month, maybe a month and a half.
Do you have employees now?
No. Not full blown. I work out there. I mean, Tom can attest to it. I'm sure that I'm always out there working.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Well, that was my question. Has it been a hobby and now you're gonna turn it into a business? And
That's
you're
more.
gonna have employees?
Yep, and I'm gonna have probably one employee.
So would that make a difference on how long that vehicle sits in the driveway?
Yep. That's why I've been trying to change this up, because it'll move the stuff. It'll get it out of there. It won't sit there. There's a project right now that I just can't get done myself.
But how many personal vehicles do you have? You don't have enough of your personal vehicles. they're outside.
Yeah, I got 2 Porsches sitting outside.
So those are always gonna be out there, right? Or something like that?
There'll always be something. I mean, I have a truck that sits outside. I have,
Do the Porsches look in disrepair? Are they damaged, body damage?
Nope.
Old looking,
they're
I
1980s
mean-
Porsches.
but like,
Yeah, they're older Porsches. I mean, some people could probably think that they're bad looking, you know, I mean, I don't, I like them, so. Cause the only thing that in there, the only thing the only thing really in there that is not, that I should just get rid of is that truck. You know, that is an eyesore, I understand that.
Yeah.
And if I had a fence or something, you know, it would at least be hidden, behind, like if I had a fence behind my shop. Cause even with the view from Tom's house, I don't think he can see behind my shop because, Bob's house and his shop is right there. So if I put up a side obscuring fence in the back and, you know, anything like that that came in, you know, that was in very bad shape and was, you know, just gonna be used for parts, that would be removed. You know, it would be put, you know, not out front, it'd be put around back.
is there a neighborhood association
No, I live out in the country on a gravel road.
and there's no association?
Yeah, there's covenants.
There's covenants?
Yeah.
Is there anything that covers that?
Mhm.
What does it
I
say?
don't have it with me.
But it has
Yeah,
covenants for
we
that?
got here though.
Hey, I'm sorry.
No, that's not your fault.
Okay.
No, that's a good question.
Yeah, when I bought the house, I never signed any kind of covenants.
Are there any other businesses beside you that are out of their homes?
There's not right in that area, but there's like a lawnmower shop and then a tire shop up the road.
What were you saying now?
Yeah, I'm completely unaware of any type of
The
covenants.
neighbors would have to deal with them on the covenants. Part of this is with them.
Yeah, that's, no matter if we gave it or not, if it's against the covenant, they could put a stop to it.
Yeah.
So that'd be a,
That should be county record though, correct?
What's that?
Yeah, we do. We don't, our
You know,
office does
at
not
the
regulate
recorder-
them.
At the recorder's office. Yeah, I've never signed anything like that. As far as I know, there's no covenants out
how
there,
long have you lived there?
since 2000.
2016 years.
Yeah, there's been stuff parked out there, you know, off and on ever since then. It's not been a 1 month or a 1 year deal. It probably got more heavy when, you know, there was more cars sitting out there once I put the shop up because I was working on them more, you know.
So you didn't have, there was, the shop that you put up, it was not there initially when you
Correct,
moved
yeah, and that's the
there?
reason I put it up. That's the reason I put the permit in, was to work on vehicles.
How long has the building been there?
I think it was 2013 or 2012 or 2013.
How
So
big
it's
is
been
it?
there. It's 40 by 60. And part of it's like more of a office area. So I have to have that for the business if I want to push that further.
Okay, anything else?
Nope.
Okay, thank you. Matt, do you have a word of wisdom or recommendation? I got a question. Can you, you know, I know we can make them put a fence around and what have you. Can you require a building to be put to keep the cars in?
You can impose the condition that, that the cars be kept inside the building.
If you don't have room, you gotta build another building.
In the past, yeah. We have, believe that there's been others that have been done though already, that it's just been the side obscuring fence. But that's the way that the code reads, is that in his zoning district, it would have to be constructed behind, any storage outdoor materials would be located behind a side obscuring fence.
So you'd have to stick with that pretty much.
Yeah,
So what are the requirements for a junkyard?
for a junkyard would be,
Can I see those pictures?
yeah,
Sorry.
so it's more than, 2 inoperable vehicles and or 600 cubic feet of junk. And junk is defined as just about,
Not operable.
just about anything laying in a pile. I mean, people with pallets laying around, half-used materials, tires, rubble, we've handled about all of it with different properties.
So what about the cars, did you say 2 inoperable cars?
We've narrowed it down to where we give you can either have 2 inoperable vehicles or the 600 cubic feet of junk.
Oh, so it can be either or.
It is either or. Because we don't allow, if somebody wants to, so say we go out to a property and somebody's got a bunch of stuff laying around, they have a couple of inoperable vehicles. You get either the 600 cubic feet of junk or you get to keep the vehicles. And it's kind of up to them to decide what they're gonna do, but they can't. We don't let them whittle down one and then say, well, I'm gonna keep, this.
How long does a vehicle have to be inoperable, or what, I mean, how do you determine that?
Has to move under its own power every 30 days. And the R districts, they have also the unlicensed motor vehicles.
So titling has nothing to do with licensing. They can be titled but not licensed.
No,
So they need to be licensed.
it would need to be licensed.
But you could technically move a car in 30 days, move it to a different location, and the 30 days, move it to a different location, bing, bing, bing,
We
forever.
have people just turn them around every 30 days, point in a different direction. It's one of those things that you're constantly up against. And when Mr. Curley came in to apply for it, I mean, to legitimize, and to kind of get in order what he's got going on out there, I mean, this was his best route of going to get his operation up to the code, get a fence constructed, get put behind what can get put behind, get put in the building, what can get put in the building.
So how much land do you have to have for a junkyard?
You cannot have a junkyard,
You cannot have a junkyard.
no.
It has to be zoned
It would have-
I-2
I
or
think an
what, I can't remember.
I-2, I'm pretty sure it's I-2.
So it has to be in
For
a
a salvage
specific
scrapyard.
area. You can't just create a junkyard in a area and get a permit for that.
No. I mean, the vehicle that he has out there, right, so in the pictures where you see the truck that's out there, that's all chopped up, that even if, I mean, it's in violation in the R district, that would have to be indoors. The ones that are out there licensed could be stored behind a fence, that are operable and licensed can be stored behind a fence. Anything that looks like that would have to be in the building.
How many feet, in 2 vehicles, and how many feet? 600?
600 cubic feet.
Cubic feet?
Cubic feet.
So how many cars is that?
Change the subject, Matt. Do we need to show this for the record or read it?
We did receive the one letter from Robert and Judith King, speaking against it, that I made copies for everybody for. I can read this into the record, if you all would like, or we can submit the letter into the record after we've reviewed it.
We might as well do that, Henry. Just, just reading it, or
That's not cubic.
just submit it.
Yeah, I mean, it's, normally we don't take anything that is not signed. As far as taking it into the record, they did type their names on there, Bob and Judy King, but there's not a signature to it, and so we can put credence on it, but
When did you get this?
Monday, Tuesday.
The 23rd, it says.
Is it?
No, we're still public.
By chance, and it's not a big deal, did you call them and say it wasn't signed? And give them an opportunity to come in and take care of that?
They're out of the country.
I did not, they're out of the country.
So
So
we've read it, so is that,
I
Good.
believe that we're okay.
is 10 cars about 600 cubic feet? Or 10 cars? No, or 600 cubic feet, would that be about 10 cars?
No, we count that as 2 vehicles.
I thought you had choice of either one.
You do, but size-wise, you should be about the same area-wise, and that's why.
2 cars
Absolutely.
equals 600 square feet, so you either have 600 square feet, something that looks like a car that's full of junk, or you
But I mean,
have
if
2
you had
cars.
10 cars and you put them all out, how many square feet would that be?
That'd be about,
That would be quite a bit. I mean,
5 would be 300. No, it'd be
So it'd be like-
3,000, because you have 5 times 6.
Well, I think that before, since there's controversy over this, and we're both a little confused about it, I think maybe you should make a home visit.
Well, that's just like what we got in Iraq, so we give them a notice that we're coming and they hide everything.
That's fine,
That's
that's
it.
fine, that's fine. Give them a chance to hide everything.
Keep it
Well, I
hidden.
mean, it's, you know, we can certainly do that, and I am not opposed to that, you know. You know, these pictures of the, whether you wanna call them junk vehicles or vehicles that need to be repaired, they aren't even by the shed, back in the shed.
Yeah.
They're parked right out in front of his
Yeah.
driveway.
I would be very annoyed. If
Well-
I was your neighbor, I would be very annoyed that you have that all there and you don't consider enough of our neighborhood to keep it nice. I have a brother that is exactly like you, and he has a lot of stuff, and it's not bothersome. He doesn't understand how it's bothersome to other people. And I was maybe thinking maybe you could get a business in town somewhere where you would have some place and not at your residence, where it wouldn't, you know, it will hurt their value, the values of their homes, undoubtedly. I think.
Okay, let's go back to Matt with the,
want me to go ahead and give
what are we gonna do?
Be careful.
So based on the above information, the preliminary recommendation by the planning department is to approve the application, subject to the following conditions. The area and subject accessory structure dedicated to the rural enterprise business shall be limited to that which was submitted with the application. The applicant shall erect a site obscuring fence behind the building as a storage area for the vehicles that are brought on the property for repair and maintenance. Said vehicles shall not be stored outside of the fenced area or outside of the repair area of the building. If generated, the hazardous waste or byproducts will be handled in accordance with all government regulations. All work shall be conducted indoors. No on-site sales of the vehicles shall be allowed based on the following findings of fact. The rural enterprise business is a listed permitted conditional use in the R1 district, which conforms to the land use policy plan. The subject property is located in an area that is primarily utilized for agricultural and residential purposes. The rural enterprise business is not foreseen to have any negative impact on the area properties. The number of vehicles that will be received by this rural enterprise business at any given time will be monitored by the applicant to ensure that the outside storage of the vehicles complies with the requirement of being located in an area fenced behind the building as limited by the rural enterprise business code provision. The existing road system is adequate to accommodate the rural enterprise business. The aforementioned conditions will minimize any potential adverse impact on the adjoining properties by limiting the size of the rural enterprise business. The rural enterprise business complies with the conditions imposed for such a land use as follows. The rural enterprise business is located on the same property where the business owner's residence is located. The rural enterprise business is for auto body and mechanical repair. There is no evidence that the rural enterprise business will create excessive noise, obnoxious odors, electrical disturbance. The total area devoted to the rural enterprise business is less than 1 acre. All of the work will occur within the building, with the exception of the vehicles that may be staged in the fenced area behind the subject building. The total area of the building dedicated to the rural enterprise business is 2,000 square feet. No on-site parking will be permitted with this rural enterprise business. No hazardous waste or byproducts will result from the rural enterprise business. The signage will be required to comply with chapter 8.09.030.06.
Okay. Upon hearing that, I'd ask for a motion to close public hearing.
Also move. Second.
Been moved and second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carried. Discussion time.
Well, I don't think that, according to the junkyard criteria, I don't really think that what we have here does conform to the land use policy, because if he can only have 2 vehicles and he's got 4 or 5 or 6, that doesn't conform to what is allowed. It says 2 vehicles in the R1 district, so I'm not sure that,
What page, what number is that, Jeanette?
Next to last one, you're in the last one.
I had it circled.
You see it? Or did that come from you, man?
That would, yeah, that, what I think she's thinking of is the definition of
Yeah, I don't think it was written, I think it
the
was
rural
said.
enterprise business would be for the auto body and mechanical repair shop, and that's why everything would be indoors or a fine building, fine fence.
Should I make another statement?
Well, needless to say, I still think we should make home visit.
I think it would impact the neighbors' property.
Well, we can't
Say
we can't say it for sure, I mean, we can't say that.
Well, you could probably go try selling a house to somebody, I bet you.
Well, I know that, but I mean,
It's got to be quantified.
I'm struggling with approving it because of the track record of what I see here in these pictures. But having said that, unless there's some other thing, is there any, I mean, can we legally deny it because of what we see from previous, or do we need to go out and look at it? You
I
know,
mean, it is a listed conditional use. If you were to violate, to come into violation from any of the conditions, then we would come back and pull his conditional use. And so, I mean, once he gets his conditional use, if he winds up having, vehicles set out front like that, then we'd be right back here and we would be revoking his conditional use, and he would be in violation.
But having said that, you can't have more than 2 vehicles sitting there for more than 30 days, or it's a junkyard, and evidently it has been. So we have, I mean, I realize it needs to be brought to your attention before you can monitor, I understand that, because you're not out.
It has been being monitored by Maria, our environmental health inspector.
Then why are they still sitting there?
As with any of the, I mean, you get up to that 30-day mark before you get on the notice of violation. Well, once you get the notice of violation and then you remove them, I mean, then it starts over again. But then once you're under notice, we have that 1 year where if it happens again and the inspectors gets called out there and seen it. But every time that Maria had been out to see the property, there was the first time he was in violation. After that, the other complaints that we'd had, once she'd gone out there, he was not in violation of what the code was. Vehicles were licensed.
That's good.
Mhm.
If they put a fence up, could they get disabled vehicles back there and back out of there with very much trouble, or is it downhill, or is it where he would have to put the truck, the disabled behind the fence?
Like I said, if he had a truck like he had, the vehicle he has out there now is in violation. If that vehicle if it were brought to the property, would have to go directly indoors.
Couldn't go
Indoors, not behind the fence.
Can't go behind the fence?
If it was an licensed vehicle that was roadworthy other than a mechanical issue with it, it could be put behind the fence.
And how many can he have back there?
I believe it's a 30 by 40 area.
So as many as you can get back there.
And I mean, that area can be expanded, I mean, that's just with the limits, you can have that 30 by 40 area, no more.
30 by
That's quite a good sized area.
30 feet by
Mm-hmm.
30 feet.
Because it's-
I wouldn't be opposed to going out and looking at it.
And we, yeah.
Well, you know,
Change
I think
anything, but-
since we've had people that have come to the board to express their concern, so we really owe it to them to show diligence and see what they say.
Yeah, I don't have a problem, I
That's
mean, I'm struggling with it because of the track record. For businesses, but
Right, right, but it doesn't seem like he's been a real good neighbor to begin with, I mean, I think we owe it to them to at least, check it out and see what's going on.
any other
It's my
thoughts?
opinion.
I would be willing to do that with you, Jeanette. One question I have for you, when you look at this picture, it looks like that's I don't know, out in the country in 10 acres, it's probably a $400,000 or $500,000 house. Or more, I don't know. Gosh, I think that even though the code could possibly allow this if we would permit it, is that an area where we want to consider putting I don't want to call it a junkyard because that's not fair to Mr. Krillis, but an auto repair shop that has four cars sitting out front in his garage, right in front of his house. I mean, do we really want that? And then have to hire somebody to go out there and make sure he moves those cars on a
Every
30
days.
days basis?
Yeah.
I don't know.
But anyway, I mean, that's my,
I would go and look.
all right, I'm
You wanna go
game
with-
for that.
I'll do
I
it.
am out of town until the 21st next month. So,
So it's still work then, because our meeting would be on June 23rd,
There you
is that
go.
right?
We'll have it just for you.
you're such a nice. What do you think, Steve?
Well, I think it'd be good to see it. I can't see why you'd want to leave something that was this bad repair sitting outside. That should be put inside the building. It should be out of sight, I mean, by the pictures of the house, I don't know, I can't see leaving something like that set outside. I can see why the neighbors wouldn't like that.
Coming.
When all those lots were divided up, 10-acre lots, I'm sure, well, anyway, I don't want to go there. Okay, let's go look at it.
So how much room does he have? How much bigger of a building could he put up to put all this stuff inside a building?
He could put up, I mean, he has plenty of ground to put up
He could put up
any size building.
another 40 by
Yeah.
60 building.
For his personal stuff.
Yeah, for his personal stuff.
The, require, or limitations, we have highlighted in the staff report for the rural enterprise business part of it. He's at the max he could be for 10
Okay.
acres.
But
But
he
if
could-
he wants
but
to
he
put
could
up
take it-
another building for his personal stuff.
Right, so he can move his personal stuff out of that building and put it into another building and
Then we wouldn't be sitting here. I have a motion to continue this next month, June 26th, a visit to,
June 23rd,
third.
oh, I was making that.
June 23rd.
So,
I'm teaching, so I'm working till 3.
okay, so could we make it a 5? June
How
26th.
far away is it from here?
Oh, outside Council Bluffs.
Yeah.
Outside town.
We could get it to,
20 minutes probably from here.
okay,
So what time do you wanna leave here? Are you gonna meet out there or leave
that's
here?
at 4:30.
I'll meet you there at 5 if that works.
Okay,
Does everybody just want to meet there?
so I'll come and ride with you.
Coming right away?
I'll come in and ride with somebody. Are you gonna- I'll ride.
Okay.
I'll come in here.
Okay.
Maybe the chauffeur,
Thank
no?
you.
So we'll be there at 5 o'clock,
I won't be able to drive that.
at the property at 5 o'clock, we'll be there.
Okay, so I will say I'd be here like 4:30.
You'll be here at 4:30, so we can be there by 5 o'clock.
Yeah,
Okay.
Right.
You're gonna leave, we're gonna leave here at 4:30 and be there at 5.
Yep.
Okay. Make sure you put that in our highlight
I
that in our
will.
packet, would you please?
Will do.
So,
Okay, do we need a motion for that? That'll
do
be,
we have
is
anything
that a
else?
motion?
Yes.
Anything else
Make
necessary?
I need a motion.
Make
We
a
have
motion
anything
that we
else?
make a visit to the property on the 23rd of June, meet at the office at 4:30, to be at the site by 5.
And then a meeting
Second.
following.
Sure, second.
Been moved in second, all in favor say aye.
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 Opposed, same. Motion carried. So we'll be at your place at 5 o'clock. Okay. Won't be any discussion, or I mean, we can visit there, but we're back when we come back.
When we
here.
get back here, yeah, there's no discussion, it's
discussion.
just,
We'll vote yes or no, we'll be done.
yes,
Is there anything else on the agenda for that evening?
Yes.
yes. Light plane landing strip, right?
What was it?
Light plane landing strip?
Yes.
In the A4 district.
Okay,
A conditional use.
Where you taking this?
Are you serious?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Okay, thanks.
maybe we should fly out and see whatever.
Oh.
Okay, motion to adjourn?
So
I
moved.
move. Second.
Then move second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same. Motion carried. Thank you, guys.